We want to acknowledge at the start of this conversation that today's conversation and topic centers on a situation involving harm to a young child. While we are holding this conversation with care, it may bring up strong emotions for some listeners, so we please ask that you pause or step away if needed because your mental health is most important. Thank you.
Baby.
We in here, yeah, we in here, 'cause we been.
Y'all better get comfortable with saying black.
We in here, yeah, we in here.
Black versus the Board of Education.
'Cause we can't get rid of us now. We in here, yeah, we in here. 'Cause we can't get rid of us now. And you know that we know, and we go, so you do what you know.
That's why we are indeed a whole mood.
That's it.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Black versus the Board of Education. My name is Melissa, and no, I'm not Miss Laureen. She is feeling okay, but I decided I wanted to come and host another episode. So today we are having a conversation that is both heavy, like said in the disclaimer, but also very necessary. And we are talking about the emotional toll of fighting for your child. That is something that we have loved to center in Black versus the Board of Education. We want to talk about what it costs families when harm happens in school spaces and when advocacy becomes survival. This is not about headlines. It's not about outrage. It is about humanity. And we are honored to be joined by the aunt of the young baby girl whose story has impacted so many of us and that we discussed last week. And today we want to slow down and center what families endure behind the scenes, because oftentimes we don't talk about that. We don't see what goes on when the doors are closed, and that also needs to be discussed so we can get down to the bottom of what needs to happen to protect our children. We want to talk about the fear, we want to talk about the strength, the exhaustion that comes as a result of being an advocate, and also the love that fuels the fight that all of us know so well, depending on the capacity that we are involved, but we all have some role in that here at BYLP. And so because advocacy doesn't start with anger, it starts with protection. So I want to let that sit. I want to bring everybody on and start with introducing everybody in the studio and then go to our guests. Like I said, my name is Melissa. I am a sophomore at the University of California, Berkeley, studying African American Studies. And I want to start with introducing everybody in the studio, starting with Miss Laureen, and then we will go over to our guest. Go ahead, Miss Laureen.
Greetings, everyone. Miss Laureen here. I am not at UC Berkeley, but I might be following this post Melissa just sent me. Happy Black History Month to everybody but that young lady in that post. But I'm going to kick it over to y'all.
Go ahead, Fox.
Hello, I'm Mr. Chastain. Happy to be here. Let's get this party started.
Fox, as always, during Black History Month and without Black History Month, I'm welcoming all the Black people to come down here and celebrate with us, and happy Black History Month to everybody. Good to see all my Black people today. How's everybody doing?
Great, thank you. I appreciate it. And we would love to bring on our guest, have you introduce yourself, who you are, and then we will get started in the conversation.
Hi, my name is Kira. I am the aunt of the 5-year-old seed in the video that's been going viral with the teacher at the Destiny Development Center. Throwing a shoe at the baby.
Thank you for being here today. And first, before we even get started with any questions going around, I want to ask, how are you? How do you feel? How have the past couple of weeks and months been? How are you?
Uh-oh, she's on mute.
Oh, you're muted.
Oh, can you hear me now?
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm doing okay. My main thing is to support my sister. As you guys can expect, this is a very hard time for her. Just being a support for her, a resource for her, the voice for her, whatever it is that she needs, just being there for her.
Absolutely. Thank you. Is she okay? Is Beautiful okay? How is everybody else?
Beautiful is okay. She's living her best life. She's still a baby. She doesn't understand what has happened to her, what has occurred. She's, my sister pulled her out from the daycare. So her regular routine has been, shifted. So that's kind of, a hard thing for her. As far as my sister, she's very emotionally torn. A different emotions every day. After viewing that video, she's hurt. Somebody harmed her baby and she's hurt.
Rightfully so. Yeah. And we again want to thank you for coming on and being able to be vulnerable in her place. And we know that there are emotions that can't always be voiced or described unless you live that. So thank you for coming on. And so I want to kind of direct the conversation and start from the beginning, because a lot of us have only seen what has happened online. And last week we talked about the video and kind of broke down what we saw as people who work in education and who are advocates and things like that. But we want to talk about what happens behind the scenes and at the very beginning. So when the incident first happened, what kind of went through your mind, through your family's mind? What happened at the beginning that people don't know?
So my sister, she was curious as to what had happened when her baby first reported to her a teacher hit her in the head with the shoe. Oh, hold on.
Oh, is she cutting out?
I think she's going in and out, but
okay, can you guys hear me?
Yes,
Go ahead.
Okay. Initially my sister was, she wanted to know, she wanted to ask, she thought the director was her friend and that the director would protect her baby had there been harm, at any point. So she was curious. She wanted to know what happened. She wanted to see the video. She spoke to Miss Danielle and let her know that her baby had came home and reported being hit in the head with a shoe by Miss Emily. And so, she asked the questions. She, took the proper steps to figure out what was going on. And, once she got that video, she didn't know how to react. She was upset. She wanted to, of course, any parent would feel, any person would feel, if you just viewed a video of somebody launching a shoe at your baby from across the room, of course, you want to lay hands and feet. You want to get physical because that's a natural response. And so she was, she's been feeling a bunch of different emotions. She's upset. She's, she thought Danielle was her friend. She thought Danielle would protect her baby. She thought that she was dropping her baby at a daycare to be loved on, to be treated with respect. And that wasn't the case, obviously.
Absolutely. That is absolutely insane. Thank you. Miss Lorraine, I have a question for you as someone who is an advocate, and anybody in the studio who can kind of answer this question. So we've asked it from the perspective of someone who personally knows and loves this child. So as an advocate, if an incident like this were to first happen, what would initially go through your mind? How would you deal with this situation?
I think I would want to have as much information as the family could provide, because that informs the direction in which we take. So if, for instance, we did not have the video at first, what we would go through is I would invite the family in. We would have a conversation with the mom, and I would have a conversation with the baby and see, okay, what information could they give me to jumpstart the advocacy role that we would play in something like this. The school would definitely receive an email from us outlining the things that we were told, and we would request a meeting to see how we can go through this portion. However, once the video comes out and we see that there was an assault on camera, that's something that's outside of our purview. That's when you need to get an attorney involved.
Yeah, absolutely. That makes sense. Go ahead, Fox.
I think I would have took a different approach. I like your approach very much so, and I agree with your approach. I think your approach is utilized for if this was like what Melissa said, Melissa's original question, what would you do if this happened? However, throughout the course of our investigation, what I found out was that this is not the baby's first time reporting such type of.
But it's the first time that that this isn't the first time, right?
No, she said by the time I find out the shoe incident, like she said, as the aunt over there, this they third, fourth time find out. So when I find out, I'm already ready for that lawyer thing. It's like the aunt said, she already ready to lay hands and feet because this ain't even the baby's first time saying it over. And so I'm unsure what happened the last time the baby said it, if they had any video footage of something, but clearly she came home and reported this teacher doing something. And then I heard something about a pillow. Now, we're going through, what's the word we say? allegedly, because of the lawsuits and all that. I believe the baby, though. I ain't gonna say allegedly for me.
We always believe the baby.
Allegedly, you know what I mean? If you already have some knowledge, if somebody did something with a pillow to my baby and now this shoe, it's like, wow, that's a lot. So the answer to your question, Melissa, as an advocate, I'm going to follow through with everything that Ms. Lorene said. As a parent, hell have no fury, man. I'm that, like she said, one of the things that makes this hard in the incident is I don't know why it's worse to me to get hit with a shoe than a hand, but the launching of the shoe coming all the way across and woof, 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 it's like I seen the shoe twirling in the air before it hit the baby. I commend the parent, I commend the community, and I'm thankful that we do have advocates like ourselves to come through for situations like this. What would you have done, Mr. Chastain?
I ain't there yet, so
I'm glad you're an advocate.
I would still. I'm learning the advocacy aspect, right? But as a male, seeing that to a young female child, even though it was a female staff or whatever that did that, it was still a young Black female child that was assaulted that way. So I would hope that's why we have our boss here to run the protocols of advocacy, right?
Right.
As a parent, highly upset, and I would hope that there would be somebody there to retract me, recall me from my emotional state.
Right.
Can we commend the parent on here today? Because
can.
Because the reason why I would just like to commend her is because, as all of us, we say, hey, we like to say hands and feet. What I did here was a process that she followed through. I called. The sister said she thought he was her friend. So she called.
Betrayal.
She made an inquiry. She said, this is what my child told me. She asked to see the tape. And no point of or time of reference did I hear anything about weapons coming out or guns or me bringing my clique down there. She believed her child and she followed through a process.
Yeah.
So she should be afforded the rest of that process as well. But I commend that parent for not going down there and doing what a lot of people would have wanted to do.
Right. And I think that's what happens when emotions get into it, right? And so what I gave was a non-emotional response, right? Because I think it's so important for parents to understand when emotions cloud your judgment, bad things happen. So I'm looking at this question in here, Melissa, in the chat, and it's asking, what do you do when you have no idea what's going on? You call somebody like me. We do free educational advocacy on behalf of families. You call somebody who knows the policies, the procedures, what was supposed to happen, how people were supposed to respond, and we can get them on that end. But why I brought up the attorney aspect is when you're talking about damages and you're talking about monetary compensation, advocates don't do that. When you go into a school and you say, I'm an attorney, they immediately shut up. As an advocate, they do not. And so you're able to walk through a process without too much fanfare until they figure out you an advocate and you know your stuff, right? Then it becomes an issue. But go ahead, Melissa. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. I thank you for bringing that up because we always talk about it takes a village, right? And a lot of people don't understand that the village consists of so many people. It consists of the mom, the dad, the aunts, the friends, but it also consists of the advocates and the people who are educated in other fields versus you and know other things. Like that's the beauty of the village is there are people who know other things and it takes all of those people to protect, takes all of those people to uplift and to be able to push forward. And I feel like that's a really important aspect. And that helps with pushing back on the emotional toll of not just fighting for children, although that's what we're centering today, but it pushes back on the emotional toll of life in general, especially life as Black people in America. Being able to have all of those different lines of support is what we really need. And so I think we have Ms. Kira back. Hi. I want to ask a question and then I want to pose this to everybody too. What does it feel like? Because I know as advocates, we can also and as parents, we can also kind of answer this question, but maybe under a different light. What does it feel like to realize that you kind of have to fight to be heard? Because I know you said this is not the first time that Beautiful has said that something has happened to her. But this is the first time we're seeing video footage. But if there's not video footage for everything, there's a risk of a child not being believed. So what does it feel like to realize that you have to kind of fight to be heard? in this scenario or any scenario?
Well, I guess that kind of ties in. My sister, I don't know if you guys have seen, she wrote a comment on here, and she also texted me. She, you know, it's hard because you don't know where to start.
Right.
Yeah.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes, ma'am. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah. So she it's hard because you don't know where to start. You don't know who to contact. You don't know who to reach out to. You don't know what to do, especially when you would have never thought that you would be going through something like this in a million years. It's hard. I mean, I didn't know. My sister didn't want to. She posted it on her story on Instagram.
Yeah.
And immediately after, I didn't get 2 seconds. I swiped down. I called. I said, "What's going on? What's it?"
I think you should try to join
Are you
from
guys
your
able to hear me?
phone, because you're going in and out, and your story is so powerful. We want to make sure that we don't miss anything. But I did hear you say your sister put it on her story and you saw it immediately and you called in. And I just want to make sure that I acknowledge Mama who's in the chat. I did not know that was your question, but we want to make sure that you know how to contact us. I understand that you're in Southern California, but we do work in Southern California too, and we want to make sure you're surrounded with support. We don't want to make it seem like we have all the answers. I just know I got some of them. And we would love to still rally behind you and support you as you process through this. So, Miss Kira.
Okay, are you guys able to hear me?
Yes,
Yeah.
ma'am.
I don't know. It's raining really, really bad. I live in the IE, so it's raining really, really bad out here. So I'm so sorry. But I did hear the question. And I was saying that my sister, she wrote a question. I seen her come across the screen, stating that, what do? You don't know where to start in a situation like this. You don't know who to contact, how to contact. You don't know what to do. You just know that somebody has harmed your baby, and something needs to be done.
Right.
Something needs to be done to where you don't end up in a place you don't want to be away from your children.
Right.
Because of course, something like, her first thought is, I'm about to go up there and I'm about to cut up.
And that's a real response.
And like I told her, you have every right to feel the way that you feel, but we ain't gonna do it that way. We're gonna do it the right way, so you don't get pulled away from your kids, and they don't be pointing you to be the bad person.
Yeah.
And so, like, I don't know if you guys had heard me earlier when I seen her posted on her story on her Instagram. I didn't even let 2 seconds get by before I picked up the phone and called her and said, "What's going on? What happened? What am I looking at?" And I posted it on my page, and I opened up my page, and it just went up from there, because people needed to see what was going on. People, not only did, the public needed to see, but hopefully some of those parents whose kids attended that daycare started pulling their kids out, because who knows what has happened to not only my niece, but their children, under the supervision of that director and the staff.
Absolutely. And it's a shame that your sister even has to try and regulate her emotions because of the fear of how someone else is going to react. Like, they should be worrying about making sure that she's okay and that her child is okay. And she shouldn't have to worry about thinking that she will look like an angry Black woman, because she has every right to be angry.
Absolutely.
I'm angry, and it ain't even my baby. I'm pissed right now.
It's been so, I've been getting so,
But
I've gotten so many different, I knew that it was going to get out and that people were going to view it, but I've been getting different, more love and support than anything, but it's been crazy comments and crazy DMs. Well, you shouldn't be putting your kids in daycare. Well, people got to work. Since when should somebody have to fear to put their kid in a daycare from them getting abused? Like, it's all kind of crazy stuff going on. And I think the biggest thing with my sister is, she thought that the director was her friend. She thought that the director would protect her baby. She thought she was in good hands. And clearly that's not what we seen on that video. I'm scared to see, other video. To go back. other times, what they've been doing to these kids. Because I don't think that was the first incident, me personally.
Can you talk about, and I know Fox had originally mentioned it, but can you talk about, there have been other incidences where Beautiful has come home?
Yes. So there was another incident prior to this where Beautiful came home and told my sister that Miss Emily had put a pillow over her head.
And Miss Emily is the same dingbat that threw the shoe, correct?
Exactly. And so when my sister asked, she was told that, oh, Miss Emily threw a pillow and it hit, accidentally hit her. But my thing is, why are you even throwing anything? Why are you even throwing anything?
Didn't she say the shoe, there was an accident with the shoe too?
Exactly. And so that's my thing. It's a pattern.
Sure has a lot of accidents.
And she got
hello?
too. Accurate accident.
Hello. Right.
And that's a dangerous cycle to do. Violent. That's violent and dangerous things, especially to a child, but to anybody, because that would be assault to another adult. That doing these dangerous things and then apologizing and thinking they're not going to go home and tell anybody, they're not going to do anything, there will be no repercussions. That is an extremely dangerous cycle for anybody to have, but especially someone who's working one-on-one with children. I just don't understand.
You know how you speak on the cycle though, Melissa? So when you say, I hear you speak of the cycle, and I hear three things in all of y'all talk. Your talk, Miss Lorraine's talk, and Miss Kira's talk. One of the things I hear is the angry black woman talk. And all I want to say is, hell have no fury like a woman scorned. My sister was being messed with about her child by a roommate she had, and the roommate had told her that she needs to shut her child up, which was my nephew, who was 2, and she had the same fear of wanting to be seen as an angry black woman, and her fear of wanting to be seen like an angry black woman caused her to try to bite her tongue. But what happened is she put her whole head through a door. My sister put her head through a door so that she didn't respond to the woman. So she hurt herself because she didn't want the the words to reach her baby. And it was just like, wow, I had to go replace the door. Me and Mr. Chastain, we replaced the door and all that. But it came from a person messing with her about her child, and all she wanted to do was just protect her child and not be seen as an angry black woman. And as I hear that, and I hear you say, what could we have done for the baby? What do you do to protect the baby? And I listen to the mom's comments, say, what did we do when she doesn't know what to do? I listen to a different response. I listen to the baby said something else happened. So now my question is this for society, for the baby. Here's a child who something has happened to. What happens to this baby when somebody pulls her hair and she turns around and slaps him, or she puts the pillow over their head and she throws a shoe at him because of the learned behavior that she's learned of how she's been treated? Who's going to look and see, she learned that from the teacher. She didn't learn that from home. I didn't hear nothing about that auntie saying she whooped her around the house with them shoes. Baby ain't never probably been beat upside her head till the shoe until she came to school.
At all. At all. My sister don't even, and that's my sister's thing. I don't even whoop my kids, let alone throw a shoe at them. How dare you? Who do you think you are to do this to my baby?
Right.
So she's upset. She, like I told her, you have every right to be. You have every right to be upset. I don't, I just let her know, like, and she feels bad because she's like, maybe all those, the other times that she has come home and said something has happened to her, she wasn't lying. Mm-hmm. She wasn't lying. Not only that, the daycare, they'll call about, Beautiful hitting and doing this to the teacher, but we didn't know this whole time. She probably was responding in that way because this lady was probably abusing her.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
You guys can call and tell that she didn't, did this and did that, but you guys not calling and saying, hey, we have a staff member here that's actually doing things that she shouldn't be doing.
Absolutely. That's insane. And what's crazy is if this would have happened in a household and they would have got a whole
they would have called CPS.
They would have called CPS and it would have been a whole other issue. And why is the same energy not presented to people who are still taking care of children? It's not just because it's not your children doesn't mean it's not a child that deserves to be protected. If it would have been a Black household and with a mother, it would have been a whole different story, and the same energy needs to be presented to those people who are supposed to be professionals in caring for children. Where's your professionalism in caring for a child? Because that's not it right there. And there's a question in the chat that I want to ask you, Ms. Kira. from Angel. And the question is, has licensing been called on that center?
I believe licensing has been called. And I don't know if I had mentioned to you guys before. That daycare center actually has other violations prior to this one.
Oh Lord.
Oh Lord.
I want to say somebody sent me something, and the news actually reported it too. Back last year, they had left a child on a bus.
I did read that one.
See,
Oh.
Yeah.
it's stuff like that I hear, and I also hear what Melissa's saying. I'm listening to what she's saying. A person who can throw a shoe, put a pillow over a child's head, are they against doing this? Hey, shut up. Shut up.
Well,
They grab
on that video,
they do
on that video, Miss Kira, can I ask you a question? Because I was looking at that video. It looked to me that she had her hand behind your niece's neck, and she was pulling her either forward or down or trying to get her to shut up. And then it also looked as if she slapped her across the face, trying to get her to be quiet while she was fake fanning her. Did you notice anything like that in the video?
I noticed like with her, I guess she was gaslighting her. With her trying to calm her down or quiet her, I did notice, but from the video that I seen, I can't really see what the movements were. And my emotions were already at a high level, from the shoe, because she waited to, Miss Danielle or whoever that was, walked out the door, stood up on the chair, cocked her arm back, and launched her shoe, and said, "Oh, I didn't mean to do." Well, what did you mean to do? Because when you everything that you did is exactly what you meant to do, from what I'm seeing. Or am I crazy? So that was just. When she went to, I guess, try to console her, my mind was already at a 10.
Yeah.
So I didn't really get to, and every time I try to rewatch the video to get it, to really analyze it, I get more upset. I get more angry. Because I just nothing in my brain can make this make sense.
Absolutely.
And
before you guys go on, Miss Danetta, if you need to step away, it said this triggers my trauma. If you need to step away and take a breath, everybody just breathe a little bit. We don't want anybody to be triggered to the point where we stay stagnant and we don't show up in mass or in community for one another. So please take a breath if you need to, or turn away, or turn it down, turn it off, whatever you need to do to take care of yourself in this moment. Go ahead, Melissa.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I wanted to ask Fox, I want you to repeat what you said last week, but also what we were talking about behind the scenes before we started, because Ms. Kira, you mentioned the launching of the shoot, right? Fox, I want you to repeat for the audience to kind of talk about what you noticed when we were analyzing the video and the launching of the shoot, and why that stood out to you.
Well, first and foremost, I was a bad little boy, little rock Thor, how but anyhow, bringing it back down to the seriousness. And before I answer that, I want to say what you said, Miss Lorene. Let's take the energy of the parent. If the parent is here, she's seeking our help. We here, we running through. Let's remain in community. Like you said, this is how we solve problems. We solve problems. We all giving our input, but yes, we do get triggered and we get upset. If you have to, step away, but let's all remain as intelligent and as answerful and as solution orientated as we can for the parent, because she said in her thing, what do you do when you don't know how to? This is how we solve these problems. And back to what you were saying, Melissa, what I noticed when she was throwing that shoe, I seen the grimace of her face where she was not. When you launch something, you launch from here, but when you really want it to go harder, you give it that extra, so that you can squeeze it harder and give it that.
I don't like
that twirl
and make it hurt make it hurt.
Now, what I seen was when she let it go, I didn't see anything on her face of stopping herself, of saying, oh, "That's a child, I'm going to hit," or "That's a baby." And then when the shoe hit its mark, I didn't see what I looked and I seen the other teachers. They went like this. Like it was humorous. They was entertained, and I seen no teacher. There was 3 of them, 3 white ladies or white looking ladies, clearly not black. But what I didn't see was anybody jump up or say, "Oh no," or "Why not?" or "Girl, you shouldn't have," or "Do you know who baby that? You out of pocket." What I seen was,
I don't like that.
And then I seen a black lady walk in, and I seen her. She didn't look like she wanted to look at the baby, who clearly got louder when she seen the black lady. But when the white lady went over there, what I heard her say was, "You should have been laying down." She made it the baby's fault when the shoe connected. And when I heard her, when she was consoling her, as you said, with her hand on the back, it looked like her hand went like this and almost hit her mouth. But along the whole thing, to me, in my culture, in my understanding of consoling, me, when I launch something, it doesn't mean you jump over something to go grab somebody and you pick them up, you hold them, hey, my bad. You look at the other adults in the room because I know how I messed up in front of you. And chastise, no remorse. My bad. It looked like they was all in cahoots together, and they've either done something like that before, if not that actual action, because they all had the look on their face as if they was all going to cover up the story. But that's what I saw.
And they did. And they did.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, you guys. I'm really agitated right now. I'm reading your comments.
Do you see my sister? That's my sister. That's Beautiful's mother.
Comments, and I'm about to I feel like my blood vessels are about to explode.
Yeah. I didn't know she wanted me to speak on that or not.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So there was another incident.
Read that.
Again, can we send our shout outs to the mother? I'm going to read it out right now.
I'm about to.
Let's start from I can start from the beginning
right now for you, but again, we want to let you know.
Melissa, read those out loud.
Full respect for you up here. We got you, sister, and you. Thank you too,
Miss Kira. Please send her my cell phone number. I've been.
I will. I will. I don't know. She's better with maybe over the phone, but as far as the public goes,
I understand.
Yeah.
So I want. Yes, I can read these comments.
Melissa's gonna read it. She said.
Yeah, I can start from the beginning. So one of these comments, the first one says, when my baby was 1 year old, she went to another daycare in San Pedro, also ran by a Black lady, and her braid was ripped out from her head. And they told me that my 1 year old did it herself and that she did not cry.
The braid.
Number one.
That's what I'm
from
saying.
the scalp.
I'm livid.
I'm not even a Black girl. I know dang well how Black girls feel about. No way.
I don't care if you are tender-headed. I don't care if you're tender-headed or not.
Braid. That is
you do cry.
A whole lot of hair.
You are going to cry. I'm not done. Hold on. There's another one. I called the police up there like I did this time. They made a police report. I had a detective that never reached out, and nothing happened with the case. Nobody was ever charged. Nothing happened.
Is this still Beautiful we're talking about?
Yes, this is Beautiful. Yes.
And so Beautiful has had several incidents of trauma
with
in educational environments.
Mm-hmm. And so my sister was hesitant on, when she found Destiny Development Center, she had already explained to the director everything that she had experienced in an education setting with her baby. She didn't even want to put her baby in daycare anymore.
Because why would you? Reasonably
exactly.
So.
Right.
And she trusted this lady. She trusted her. She explained to her what she had been through and what she experienced. And she was assured that her baby was in good hands.
You know what we're talking about.
And then come to find out that absolutely wasn't true. That's why she's very emotional. She's like, what, why do people keep attacking my baby? Why do people feel like it's okay?
She can't talk because of her autism. They don't believe that she will be able to say what's.
And my sister has worked with her extensively. And thank God she can talk.
Yes,
right.
Yes.
We're talking about that parent right now. We've been asking for the last 3-4 weeks. What happens when that parent comes in there?
That parent.
And this is this is the first defining definition of us in the recent weeks of having that parent on what that is that parent. What do you do? She's a detective. Did not reach back out to her about her baby, but I have to come complain to the same system where detectives and other teachers did not reach back out to me about a child that my child, who I'm trying to do the right thing about, not really.
Well, and another thing is, so the day before we did our went on the news, she went back up to the school with the police. It was a Hispanic officer. He told her that she couldn't press charges on the other two ladies that were present in the room because they technically didn't do anything.
Wow.
It's called failure to protect. CPS.
But they're mandated reporters, so how wouldn't they be held responsible?
Wow, that is crazy.
They absolutely need to be held responsible. Like, they are mandated by the state to, if they see something wrong, they have to say something. That
exactly.
Make sense why they can't.
Exactly. So, like I told my sister, I said, well, is it because they're of the same ethnicity or same race? Is he telling you that information that they can't be charged?
We back to that same theory when we was already saying before. I guess them laws just don't apply to us, huh?
It applies to us and everything else.
I mean,
absolutely everything else.
Security just pulled up as they was a judge. You can't even. We ain't prosecuting. We ain't nothing. We We
Oh
cool.
my
Did you
goodness.
see that lady? She looked like me.
So-
I ain't gonna prosecute her.
So I just looked it up. What is the consequence when mandated reporters fail to report? It says when a mandated reporter fails to report suspected child abuse or neglect, they can face serious legal, professional, and civil consequences. So she might need to sue them in
Absolutely.
We need to start getting on that about people who are in these rooms who are mandated reporters. That's the one thing that we haven't been doing. In all these educating rooms, they're all, like you always say, Melissa, they're mandated reporters. And we've yet to challenge that part. Let's start challenging what happens when what you just brought up. When you're a mandated reporter and you haven't reported, and it's a child that got in the heart, how do you still have your job? It clearly says right here that this can't happen. Your integrity is gone. It's gone. It's gone.
It's a criminal offense. And like, I'm a mandated reporter because of my job on campus. I work with middle schoolers and high schoolers who are minors. And as an adult, I'm a mandated reporter. I've run the state mandated training for mandated reporting. The first line in the presentation that I'm told to give is that not reporting is a criminal offense.
Absolutely.
So how are they not being held responsible?
Absolutely.
So
And
that
I've
means
worked in
something-
healthcare all my life. I've worked in healthcare. I've worked in group homes with adults with developmental disabilities. You have to report. And like I told her, I said, that's not true. That's not true what he told you, because they're mandated reporters. When you sign that job contract, you're signing that you will report anything that's not supposed to be happening.
Absolutely.
Period,
And if they are
point blank.
not mandated, and if they're not mandated reporters and still working with children, they can have there's criminal offense can be charged to that too, because you need to be a mandated reporter to work with children. And that makes absolutely no sense. And I want to read 2 more comments and discuss these. 4 months ago, Eucalyptus Elementary School, it's down the street from my house. Eucalyptus Elementary School allowed her to get out the back gate, run down the street, and almost hit by a car. And a stranger brought her back. Nobody knew that she was out from that gate except a few teachers, so 6 or 7 teachers that watched her run out the gate, and none of them tried to grab her or stop her or chase after her. And they let her almost get hit by a car, and she was brought back by a stranger. A Black woman ran in front of the car and saved her child. I don't think we're understanding the gravity.
So this is, and that's, so I didn't know. I asked my sister before I got on here, how much did she want me to share? Because I don't want to overshare more than what but she's writing in the comments. So she wrote it. We're going to talk about it. We're going to touch on it. So this is the 3rd incident that has happened to the same child, Beautiful. So you could just about imagine how angry and upset she feels. Things keep happening to her baby. The braid being ripped out. Secondly, the school let her get past all these teachers outside the gate and almost get hit by a car and brought back by a stranger that was a Black woman. Thank you, Jesus. And then now this incident where this teacher then threw his shoe and hit her in the head.
Is she still at Eucalyptus Elementary?
Miss Shalay, if you want to answer that. I don't want to.
I want to be her advocate. That's why I'm asking.
That's why we ask. But a part of that, I don't want to shy away from the subject or shine away. I just want to highlight one thing in this conversation. I don't want this conversation to be looked at for any of the viewers that are watching like this is an isolated incident. I show up the IEPs and 504s all the time. This isn't just this baby that this is happening to. This really be happening to these kids on these schools.
All the time.
The kids have other siblings on school grounds, and their siblings find them out in the street somewhere, and they call their parents and say, hey, so-and-so got over the gate. I'm doing IEPs. This is not an isolated incident. That's all I wanted to let the public know. This ain't no isolated incident. I'm talking about, I've been to them IEPs this year alone about these incidents. But back to this particular baby.
Yeah.
When it comes to our black kids, this is a regular thing. What if the child was white or, of a different race? Would they be pushing it more, or would they be more upset, or would they be more willing to and ready to do something about it? It's like, it seems like when it comes down to African American children, it's like, oh, okay, like we got to get over it, or we can't make noise about it, or we can't be upset about it. And that's my problem with everything.
That's sad that this happened. And then what I heard in the room, I apologize to all of y'all sisters for anything that I, as a Black man, has ever done to make y'all feel that bad. The way that when I heard her say she doesn't even want to be looked at as an angry Black woman. Right. Like, that's sad that to me that a Black woman has to worry about her own emotion about a situation where us as a society should be upset about. That's not cool up on her. Where's the parent safe place besides you as her sister? And I commend you as a sister for fighting for your sister.
Thank you. Of course, I'm always gonna stand 10 toes behind mine. If she ain't gonna be able to do it emotionally, I'm gonna stand up, and can't nobody shut me up.
Absolutely. And the reality is that a lot of people don't have that support system. A lot of people are doing it alone. And she even said in the comments, like, being a single mother of 2 children, she feels like there's limited things that she can do to protect her children because she still has another child at home. And she still
they both have autism. They both have autism, and she has had to fight for Beautiful to have a one-on-one at that school since that, after the incident, they were, trying to clean up house. And so they got her a one-on-one. But my thing is, why have to fight for that support? You guys have it in your budget. What's the holdup, or what's the fight to get the necessary supports that this child needs? Why did she almost have to get hit by a car for you guys to give her a one-on-one? My sister was going up there. I said, no, you need to put the pressure on them to make them place her with a one. They have the money in their budget to give her a one-on-one. She was going to school every day with her because they couldn't. Go ahead.
You can go ahead.
She had to go to school with her every day because they didn't want. They were dragging their feet on getting her the supports that she needed. My sister needs a break too. We pay our tax dollars for these schools and all this other stuff. She needs a break too. With the schools, but she's back going to school now that this incident has happened. She's back going to school with Beautiful because she doesn't trust anybody, and as she should. As she should. She shouldn't trust them because I'm sending my baby to these schools and to these daycares, and she's being abused or mistreated or neglected and overlooked. It's crazy.
I'm happy that you're willing to come on here and speak. It's oftentimes, when I say often,
people don't believe it.
Yeah, they don't believe it. We go through this daily. I really show up for IEPs, 504s, BIPs, behavioral intervention plans, and oftentimes within the meeting, you can see the adults acting the way the child said they were. They're like, "What? Are you really?" And
why do I have to do all of that for y'all to believe me? You get what I'm saying?
What brings to mind when I hear you talking is the policies that be on schools. You got to call me 24 hours before you come up here to the school to see your baby. So you got to give me 24 hours to get my
going to school with the baby daily.
Right.
Well, she's going now since this incident has happened. She has been back going to school with Beautiful. She don't. She's rightfully so. She's traumatized.
And then, like you said, for the mama, what's on the brain for the mama is this. This is what we all said. And again, mama, I'm not one to beat you up. I'm on your side for real. But when she said to herself, my child said something before. So when the child says something before, now this happened here, it gives the parent no room to give kickback because it makes the parent feel like, what if something else did happen and I didn't see it? What worse could have happened? And what else is you implying here? And the fact that I seen other adults in the room and nobody responded to helping my child makes me feel as the parent, and I'm not the parent, makes me feel as the parent, who can I trust around the baby? Because y'all watched it go on. The other kids are too young to protect my child. My child themselves has autism. My sister fighting for me. People see what's going on. I'm trying not to be angry myself. I want to be able to trust y'all. But not only could I not trust you, but the other adults around. And then as the sister said, I thought she was my partner. Right. You can't be my partner. A partner gives my child an extra juice. You didn't give my child an extra blanket, an extra juice, and you were slow on seeing the tape. How often do you review these tapes?
Yeah.
That's my main question. How do you run this type of business, and how often do you run these cameras? And now that this has happened, have you even went back and to look to see if there has been other incidents? Because I don't believe that this was the first one. She was too comfortable in launching that shoe, and they were too comfortable sitting there watching and laughing as she cried. That was not the first time. I believe that you test the waters when you do things. They tested the waters and realized they weren't being reprimanded behind what they were doing. And so they just, once you give them an inch, they take a mile. They went all the way with it.
The baby wasn't just crying. Let's put the truth definite. The baby was assaulted. The adults laughed and was entertained by a baby being assaulted. The baby didn't just start we was wondering. Everybody in the room know exactly why that baby was crying. They knew exactly what hit that baby. They knew exactly where it came from. And they left her in the arms of her victimizer. So now, not only did the lady get to be the victimizer, she got to be the same person to come over and put her hand and squeeze on the back of her neck and tell her didn't nothing just happen to you, even though I'm the one who threw the shoe at you.
No, she's saying stop, like stop crying, stop.
Right.
Yeah.
No
That-
consoling, nothing.
but to have another adult even allow that adult to still be around that child. No other adult got up and said, hey, hold up, back up. That's you out of here. Your shift over with, turn your key. Something. If nothing else, I stay away from this particular baby right here.
Auntie,
And
can
Beautiful still had to go to school with those two ladies that sat in that room and watched her and laughed. For about a week.
Can you explain to us why Beautiful it seemed to be outside of the sleeping area? Why was she the only one located?
So I asked my sister the same question. Because she has autism and she does have behaviors, they wanted to separate her from the other kids because during that times, she doesn't quite go down as easily as far as the other kids go. So they did separate her into the area that she was in, seen in that video. But like I told my sister, they should have made other accommodations because her being right there in front of a door, that's not safe.
Right.
They should have made other accommodations or put her in another place for her to, comfortably take a nap or whatever it is that she's doing during nap time away from the other kids. Now, my sister did say that Miss Danielle would take Beautiful in the room with her sometimes to kind of like calm her down or redirect her. But even that, I don't even feel like that was enough. They should have done something else different that catered to her and her needs, her supports that she needed during nap time if she wasn't going to take a nap. And that's another thing. And that's another question that I have. Because there are other parents with children with autism that can't send their child to daycares because they can't support their child's needs. What do parents do who have kids with disabilities? What do they do for childcare when they need it? Because these daycares and stuff aren't set up to support their child's needs.
So, and I know Miss Angel Boone is in the chat, and she also has a daycare, and maybe she could shed some light on that. But my understanding, based on what you said or what was said in the chat, Beautiful has an IEP. The IEP is not an optional document. It's a document that's supposed to inform, someone how to best serve the needs of the child. So I'm wondering if daycares have to follow IEPs as well as school systems. So that would be my question for you, Angel, if you can answer me in the chat. And then number two, I see Mom said that she didn't even know she was separated from the other kids until she saw the video. That is a problem for me.
As well as this, me and Mr. Chastain, we see you over there, Mom. And one of the things that we do, we mentors, we counselors, we've been doing this. I understand the process you're going through.
So
right
they
now.
do have to.
Chat, you're unpacking. You're unpacking your traumas in the chat. Now, I just want to let you know, we see you. We are reading your comments. You are heard. We are responding to you. Continue to unpack. Just because we don't hear your voice, and your sister is here fighting for you, we see your comments in the chat. And one thing that we recognize that to be and know that to be, I see you're unpacking. And I want you to know that you're in a safe place. Our chat lines are a safe place, and our numbers are open afterwards as well. Please call Ms. Lorene, or if it ain't her, we have a plethora of mentors here for you. And that's what we're here for. You too as well, sis. Back to you, Ms. Lorene. But we see you unpacking in the chats. It's a safe place. Thank you. Continue to unpack. We got you, sis.
And so Miss Angel Boone said, yes, they do have to follow the IEP at daycares. So there is no excuse for them not following it or not putting in supports that best serve Beautiful's interests. Number two, so not only was she separated, my question is, was that the beginning of nap time or was that the ending of nap time? Because I saw the other kids still sleeping as she was, it looked like she was following the lady who went out the door. But you also said that she eloped from school. So we're talking about an eloper being placed by a door. Okay. And so it looked like she was following the adult, which kind of makes sense to me. So any indication why, I don't even want to say why she threw that damn shoe, but any indication or any excuse that was given besides it was an accident when it was clearly on purpose? Any other reasonings come forward outside of that?
As far as what we know is she had said that she was throwing some shoes out of the classroom that weren't supposed to be there.
That
But
shoe
that
came
was
off her
it.
foot. That shoe came right up off her foot. She don't quit
She
that
did
line.
what?
She said that she was throwing some shoes out. That shoe came up off her foot. I got.
Does she not know we can see the video of her taking the shoe off of her foot after she
Like, how
stood up
retarded-
on a chair and
And,
threw it?
Like what type of like? There's no
She thinks we're
different
dumb.
angle that I
She
can look
thinks
at
we're
this from.
stupid.
But at every angle I look at it from,
Gotta be.
it makes me
It's
want to just
malicious.
have at her. Who threw a shoe at an autistic baby anyway?
At a
No
baby.
Who throws it at a
autistic
baby?
Just
A baby, period.
And you got her in a designated area, so it's like you put her over there. You knew it was there, and you got mad. You were mad that an autistic baby didn't want to go to sleep at a place of work, not your own child, a situation that you're supposed to be trained and dealt with and know how to deal with, and you upset not because the baby was loud, because we couldn't hear the baby, not because the baby was throwing stuff, because she wasn't doing that, not because she was making a mess, because she wasn't doing that, simply because she put her two hands on the floor and used her strength and stood up. That's it. She took up space.
And I that's another question I have. Are daycare center staff trained to deal with kids with disabilities? Are they just because what type? If you don't have the capacity or the
for it,
well,
you get
and
more
that
funding
and
for people with disabilities. So I'm sure they accepted the funding for it.
exactly. And so that's my thing. If how intensive is the training? How are you preparing your staff to deal with all kinds of kids?
I like that
Mm.
question. What
Yeah.
are the Miss
Miss Angel,
Miss Angel Boone.
asked about
the NAP policy.
Yeah, what are the NAP policies? That is a beautiful question to ask, because there's got to be some kind of format on what they do. If one can't go to sleep, what is the next step? What do they do? What and with the IEPs or 504s, what do they do with those?
What are they supposed to
What
do?
are they supposed to do? I
Mhm.
like that. What are they supposed to do? And I have another question, right? When you have the mandate reporters,
Mhm.
you said under state law, they are bound under state law. So that state law says that they can be fined or in prison, but who holds that state law over those individuals who
I'm
violated
wondering-
as mandated reporters?
I'm wondering if it's licensing. And Miss Angel, you're in the chat.
I believe it's community care licensing.
Yeah, licensing. And so, they violated that. There has to be some repercussions. But because it's a Black child, a lot of times what they'll do is they'll try to dismiss it as it not being that big of a deal. That's why we stay busy over here, because we make it a big damn deal, because we don't like people punking our children.
For
I don't
sure.
like it.
For sure.
And I am so sorry, Mama. I am so sorry that you felt like, you didn't have a support system, that, there was nothing else you could do besides keep your kid out of school before the school met with you to put a safety plan in place. Like I said, after this conversation, I want to be Beautiful's advocate moving forward. That is, as she matriculates through K through 12, I want to walk alongside your family, because I just see so many gaps and so many things that, unfortunately, we as Black people, we are very relational. And because we are a relational people, when we put our children into facilities with other folks, we want to build relationships with them. And I saw Mama's comment. She said she has donated with the director.
Yeah.
She has.
Yep. She's put in time. She has cooked. My sister can cook. She has cooked for events. She has donated money. She has went, to their fundraisers. She and she's hurt. How did I give myself to you as a parent and as a friend to help your business to support you, and you didn't keep my baby safe?
Yeah.
Not once.
And that's
twice, and
that's
three times.
the issue with us as a people, because we are so relational. We have certain types of expectations.
Yeah.
And sometimes those expectations don't align with people's abilities, right? Although she liked getting maybe the donations and things, maybe she doesn't have the ability, or she doesn't stand flat-footed in the fact that I don't give a damn who you are. You're not going to come in here and mistreat any children, especially kids who look like me.
Right.
I
And
think it was a
sometimes-
transaction for her. It was a
Yeah.
transaction.
Transaction.
It wasn't out of the love and care. I think it was a transaction. You paying me, I'm getting my money, and hey,
Whatever
That is
happens,
crazy.
happens. And we
And-
expect more.
Absolutely. And
Destiny, we expect more.
we do. And advocacy, like being able, your sister is amazing. Being able to believe her child with or without video footage. I can just tell by the way you talk about her. She's a good mother to her
she is
children.
an awesome mother.
Absolutely. And would have believed beautiful even without that video footage. And advocacy shouldn't have to be born out of trauma. Like we shouldn't have to have not only a traumatized child, but you talk about your sister being traumatized and not feeling like she can take beautiful to school. She feels she needs to go into school with her, to sit down with her while she learns, to make sure that she's safe. Advocacy shouldn't be born out of trauma, but for a lot of families, that's where it begins. And like even Fox said, that's not, we see this so many times, and now there's video evidence here for your family, but there are so many children where there is no video evidence, and those children are not believed, and they continue to matriculate through the education system, and people wonder why they act out or they are bad children as people label them, but they don't understand there are so many children who have had braids ripped out of their hair, who have escaped from a school and ran out into the street because people were not paying attention to them before the age of 5. Like there are so many children who experience these things, whether it is physical abuse from educators, whether it is verbal or emotional abuse. People don't realize how many children, how many Black children go through this, because Black children are not seen as children when it comes to the education system. And it's really sad that we even have to have this conversation. But I thank you for coming on and being vulnerable enough to have this conversation and being able to voice the emotions that we don't get to see in the video for your family and for your sister. I thank your sister so much, Mom, for coming on, even in the chat, to be able to put emotion to what we have seen, because we are angry, but we know there are so many more emotions that can't even be named behind the scenes, because this hasn't happened personally to us. This happened to you. And so like Fox said, this is a safe space for you, for your family, to even ask questions. We understand not wanting to come forward publicly, but even being able to talk to somebody and have somebody, because this didn't just happen to your child, it happened to you too. And it's really important to be able to have that village and that space. I know we only have like under 5 minutes. And so I want to just ask.
Can we ask, before you ask your last question, can I know how we can support Mom
I was
now?
gonna be my next question anyways.
Go ahead.
Or if not, same question. If we can't get to Mom, how can we get to sister support Mom? How can we support you and support
The family?
If we can't,
The family in general.
However we can get that done.
I know that I had put a link up. Well, Instagram didn't allow me to put the link up to sign a petition. We're working with Brother Najee Ali. There still has been no arrest made, and so we're just waiting on Brother Ali to lead us or to let us know what are the next steps. Because they need to be arrested, and we it's been what, 2 weeks now. Nobody's still arrested.
Who is Brother Ali, may I ask?
He's an advocate.
He's an activist down in
Can Brother
Los
Ali
Angeles.
contact us as well? We would like to help.
Okay. Thank you guys. We appreciate you guys. I'll send you guys. I'll call her when we get off here and see if she's okay with me sharing her number. But we thank you guys for all the love and support. Even for have invited me up here to do this and talk about this. And whatever support you guys extend after this.
Yeah, thank you so much. And I want to thank my mommy. My mom was the one who actually reached out to you to come on. So I want to thank my mom, Miss Tawana, for being able to reach out to you and to get your side of the story, because oftentimes we see the viral videos of the kids and of the parents, and it's one clip out of a story that doesn't often get told. And so thank you for being able to tell your family side of the story, because that needs to be voiced. And we need to get that part of the story out there, because the children need to be advocated for, the families need to be advocated for, they need to have a support system. And you being able to be vulnerable, Mom being able to be vulnerable and tell that story and give the history and the backstory and the context to all of the things that Beautiful has been through before the age of 5 really adds more, and it'll make people more angry. It'll make people want to talk about it. It'll make people sign that petition that you talked about. It'll give people a chance to do more because more needs to be done. And I don't have anything else to add, Miss Laureen. If you have anything else to add, anybody in the studio before we close out, I want to thank you for being a part of that so much. And if there is BYLP contact information that we can give you guys, I would love
that right now in the chat.
Thank you.
Go ahead, Mr. Fox. You go ahead and do.
I lately have been trying to tell people 2 things. One, that we've been talking about in here, get on these people about their integrity. But 2, we did all that stuff in the streets about releasing the footage from these police cameras. We need them cameras in them classrooms. We paying for the education, our taxes, and if your integrity is so hard, why our cameras can't be in the classroom where our kids are at, but I got to wait 24 hours to give you some access to get right? Put the cameras in the classrooms. The teachers they ain't got no integrity. It's already been proven. And even if there's a good teacher, you should be happy that the camera's in the classroom, because now we will applaud you because you're so good. But if the kids are so bad, like society and the public and the teachers said, prove it to us. Let us see the cameras. Start doing them cameras the same way officers got to do theirs. Because I don't understand how where our children are at, we can't see them in cameras, but adults can. You can see them, and we don't see that. But I want to see what's going on with my children. Let me see that camera classroom. Let me see that you said my child was up in here acting up, or let me see that you was ignoring my child when he was trying to ask about that homework.
Right.
Absolutely. Yeah. And thank you again.
Thank you,
yeah.
And thank you, everybody. And thank you, everybody in the chat for all the information today. One thing I'd like to applaud all of us about all the people, all of our Black people in Black History Month. Even though we talking about this has been very solution orientated. Everybody in here was trying to look for solutions and what we can do to help. And I appreciate that amongst our people. That's what our people need to see us doing, fighting and finding solutions.
Yeah. And so if you're here in the chat, or you'll watch this later, if you want to be a part of Beautiful's Extended Village with us, you can email me at lpryor@bylp.org, or you could give me a call, 916-914-5931. We just want to make sure we surround you all with the support and the love that you need as you move forward. I am so enraged because I just think that a lot of times our kids say something is going on and we don't always take heed. We like to listen to the teachers or the administrators who tell us our kids are acting out, but we never really think about the toll that it's taken on our kids to show up to a hostile education environment. And if things were going on at different places and this was supposed to be the safe place and mom thought she had a relationship with folks, it's doubly traumatizing when things turn out to be worse than we ever imagined. And so again, if you're wanting to be part of the extended village, I'm out here in Northern California, but I love to take plane trips to LA. And so I will come down there and I would love to meet with mom and meet with you, Auntie, go have a meal or something.
Okay.
We can build our relationship because I'm relational as well. And Melissa will tell you, I ain't let her go in several years.
Absolutely. She'll fly down just to take me to lunch, and I appreciate it every time.
Melissa, you want to close out, love?
Yes, I can. So thank you. Thank everyone for participating in the chat so much, to really add context to the conversation and to make everyone feel like they have a home here with BYLP. Next week, we are talking about what school's right versus what actually happened, very similar to today's episode. We're going to talk about how school records often tell a different story versus what families actually experience. And we want to break down how incident reports, how behavior logs, and how all of these different files are written, and how inaccurate language and stereotypes can follow students through years of their educational journey, and teaching parents and talking about how parents can learn how to challenge and correct that record to protect their children. So thank you guys all for being here so much. We will see you next week, 4:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and let's give the peace sign and head out. Thank you. Bye-bye.